traveling around for music and battling like?
Um, Outside of the U.S., I say one of my favorite places to go is London. Um, I like London. I like Calgary was cool too, man. Calgary, I'm a pescatarian now, but back then, like I had the best steak I had ever had in my life in Calgary at a just a Irish pub. Like it wasn't even like a fancy ass restaurant. Um, I like London though. It's something about seeing people that look exactly like me that don't sound shit like me that intrigues my mind.
I
Like
feel that.
it intrigues my mind, bro. Like the first time I heard somebody that looked like me with a different kind of accent, I was in like Toronto, bro, and I'd ask somebody for directions, and the guy started talking, and I was stuck. Like I was like, because where I'm from, like Detroit is set up like is black people here, and then in the suburbs of Detroit, the different like there might be different races, but like I was never in a class like, and I didn't grow up in segregation. You feel me? I'm an '80s baby again.
Right.
Um, there weren't white kids in my class. There were white teachers in my school, but there were no white kids in my class. I didn't have a class with a white kid till I got in the 10th grade,
That's
and then
serious.
again in college. There weren't white people in my neighborhood. I didn't know white people. I didn't have like it took it took rap, hip hop to introduce me to people from everywhere, man, and create some really dope relationships over the years, man. But so my thing has always been about the people that I meet where I go. Like I've been in some parts of Mexico that like I met some just interesting people, man, and early on, like that was the big thing for me, being able to travel and go places and see people because the people in my neighborhood, like they hadn't been nowhere, you know,
Right.
like anywhere. So, that was the biggest importance for me.
That's super
But
cool.
yeah, London, man, I really like London. I want to go to Africa.
Africa looks like it would be a crazy experience still. Do you have any like country in particular you want to go?
I want to go to Egypt, man. Like, I want to see the pyramids. Like, I know, like, that's gonna be a far fetched thing right now, um, and probably not the best thing for me to do based on how things are in the country. But, like, man, I want to go. I actually passed up an opportunity to go to Johannesburg because of schedule conflicts that I should have just changed. Now,
Right.
in retrospect, just looking at how the world is now.
Yeah, I don't actually consider what it would be like to travel to Egypt now. It's not the safest location on earth, I would
Nah, not
imagine.
right now. Not right now at all.
So like with regards to like your whole stuff, like so you dropped an album in 2018. What like made you decide to create that? Like,
Um, the gospel came about because some of the questions that I had with the Life Project, as far as faith and spirituality, just gave me a whole lot of questions. Uh, I started looking into and reading and having conversations about where some of our ideologies and beliefs come from. And I started having real just conversations with myself. It's like the title song on there, the gospel. There's a video for it where I get in a fight with um, white Jesus. One of my things like early on in childhood was the description of Jesus versus the depiction of Jesus. And when I would question that, I was always met with shit like, well, that the color doesn't matter, and it doesn't. I don't care what color. Like it's about the story. But my retort to that was like, well, if it don't matter, then shit, why you lie? So so my so my question wasn't faith; it was just the institution and my feeling and feeling this way, right? So it was an album where I was able to be personal, I was able to talk about the plight um, of my people in America. I did a lot of that. I got a song called Hello America. Uh, but also hold the fire to our neighborhoods and say, yo, it's up to us to do some things and make some changes in this space. And I do that outside of my music, from a just, just from a philanthropic point of view, or area. Um, but the album, I worked with some really dope producers, some really dope musicians, and I was able to make an album that was like dear to my heart. Song on there called 989. I get real personal, talking about me growing up. Last song on there, the name of it, leave right now, but the final song was a testament, just talking about my life, talking about like losing my grandmother uh, in an accident, young age, being like, it's just real personable, like real
Right.
personal. If you want to, like, so I I I fell into a space where I wanted to make music that my kids could listen to and learn about me later. And I started looking at like my battles didn't always represent that, because sometimes I revisit old thoughts or old activities. I talk about hurting people. Uh, I talk about what I could, would, or will do or have done. Um, and I needed stuff where like my son could listen when he get my age and get a perspective and be like, damn, man, maybe I'm going through that. Uh, and I wanted, like, it's a song on there, man, re-up. It's like I say I kiss my daughter and I tell her that I love her every day. And I'm showing her I mean in every single word I say. And like with my daughter, like I tell my daughter I love her every time I see her, every time I speak to her. If we talk on the phone, before she went off to school, every single morning, every single day, repeatedly, repeatedly. Um, and then I show her by my action. And being able to put stuff like that in music is important to me. But also being vulnerable, like on songs like All Day, where I talk about being in the strip club, like knowing I shouldn't be in this bitch or whatever, because as a human, I go to the strip club and I would be in there, and for whatever reason, I would sometimes just have a spell of thinking about the social conditions of black people in my state or in my city, and thinking about the women that are doing what I'm tipping them to do, right? And why they're doing it. And then saying, you tripping, fuck it, and throwing money and having fun. So it shows a lot of conflict. And when it come down, and it leads into this next project, which is called Jonah, that I'm finishing up now, that talks about a kid getting out of the belly of the beast. Um, just like if you familiar with the Bible, with the book of Jonah, um, whether you believe it happened verbatim or if you think the whale was a metaphor, I'm using the whale as a metaphor, being Jonah was swallowed by the whale and he had to get out of the belly of the beast or what have you. My neighborhood, my environment is the belly of the beast. And I revisit my life and my upbringing and my thoughts. And I produce a lot of the album. And it's my most personal work, it's my best work. And I believe that like when the album goes off, you're like, damn, I know this guy.
Yeah. I believe that. I really enjoyed the gospel. I listened to that, and I thought it was really well put together. And sounds great today. Because sometimes, like, the projects don't age well. I didn't listen to a lot of The Light. I tried, but, like, I just didn't have the time because I was like, I should probably listen to his battles. Like, so I ended up going down that route.
Right.
But honestly, I think you're an extremely talented dude. I didn't realize you produced as well and all of that. So, like, it just adds to, like, the power of all of this time, and just to think that like this isn't even just like new. You've been doing this for decades, like
Yeah,
since you were like
a little
7,
kid. Yeah,
writing rhymes. Like that is wild as like a journey.
yeah.
So like, what comes like, I guess, how did like COVID shift things up? Like, did that like create problems for you, like real adjustments in your life?
Yeah. Um, I was supposed to go to Alaska for the first time in April of that year. I was supposed to go to Australia for the first time in May of that year. Like I had a really busy 2020 uh, that got slowed down due to COVID. Um, battle rap actually thrived, and new opportunities came through battle rap on some levels, and then on some it didn't. It was the first time that I didn't go anywhere all year. Like I'm going every month, if not every other week, prior to COVID. So it gave me an opportunity to sit down. I became a better music producer because I hadn't produced in a long time. So I became a better music producer during that time. Uh, I got an opportunity to do some things at my house, and some gardening or whatever, some maintenance on my lawn. I built a fire pit. I got some personal time with my daughter, with my son. I was able to slow down and really figure out how to make money in a drought or whatever.
Right.
I had some opportunities slip, but all in all, man, it's been a challenge, man, because like I'm used to being able to just go do things, and early on, man, I was so afraid. Um, I got a kid that has a weaker immune system. My son has a weaker immune system than some people would. So I was very, very cautious about doing anything. I was one of those people that I remember when the pandemic first happened, man, I was in the grocery store with the lawnmower man mask, with the lawnmower mask on, the I had on work gloves, like I got on long sleeves and pants, and like I'm in there looking like I work in a laboratory, man, just trying to get some peanut butter and jelly. And so, you know, it definitely didn't help anxiety. Um, I don't do I'm not too cool with a whole bunch of people around me anyway. So COVID has made just talking to a stranger very, very difficult. You know,
Yeah, I can imagine that. Um, I, honestly, trying to reintegrate into real life has been weird. I don't know that I'm good at it. I just know that I'm trying.